One of the questions that people ask me most at this time of year, Thanksgiving, is how do I carve a turkey? It's a little intimidating, but it's actually really easy. The first thing you have to do is get it out of the roasting pan. I like to take a wooden spoon like this, or just something that I can get inside the turkey, and then something that's going to protect my hand from the heat, because while it does rest after it comes out of the oven before you carve it, about 20 minutes, you want to protect your hand because it's still going to be hot. So I use my spoon to lift it up and then transfer it to a cutting board. There might be some juices inside. Mine doesn't seem to have that many, but if it does, you can carefully tip it so that the juices go back into the roasting pan, and that's what you'll use to make gravy. The legs on this one have been tied, so cut those apart. We like to just tie the legs together on our turkeys just for a nice shape and even cooking. And now there's only really 4 steps to this. The first thing that you do is remove the leg thigh piece from the turkey as a whole. So cut between the leg and the breast, and then just open it up. Just pull it back until the thigh bone sort of pops out of the joint. There's a bone right here. If you cut right through that joint, it'll separate right away from the carcass of the turkey. For now, I'm just going to put this aside on my platter. I want to remove the second leg as well. I'm using a carving board which has a little well to catch the juices as you carve not just turkeys and chickens, but other big pieces of meat. It's very helpful. It's not completely necessary, but it helps a little bit with not getting a huge mess all over your counter. And if your turkey is really, really hot, you might want to stabilize it not with your hand, but with a fork of some kind. Once the legs have been removed, you can remove the breasts. What you want to do is cut alongside of the ridge, which is the top of the breastbone. Cut down along either side of that to remove the breast in one piece. Well, in 2 pieces, really. Try to stay as close to the rib cage as possible so you get most of the meat. You don't even really need to use a special knife for this. A carving knife is great, but it's not necessary. So you just use a nice sharp knife. Cut down along the bottom, and you should be able to remove the breast all in one piece. Almost. Do the same thing with the breast on the other side. Then the wings, you can cut through the joints of the wings as well. They should separate really easy from the carcass at this point. So just use the tip of your knife to get in between the joints so that you can separate it. You're not ever really meant to cut through bone when you're cutting up any kind of poultry. You can also go in there with your scissors. It's a really nice supplemental tool, and just cut it right off. Keep your work area clean. I've been cleaning up with paper towels. Just makes it easier if there's not a big mess. I like to cut my turkey carcass in half so that it's not so big in the fridge, and then save it to make soup. Now you can scrape up some of these juices and just transfer them into the pan where you're going to make your gravy. I just use the side of my knife to do that. Now you can just go ahead and cut up your turkey. I'm going to do the leg and show you how to do that. I don't usually cut the meat off of the legs themselves, but you can cut between the leg and the thigh, separate those. Again, you're not cutting through any bone here. And then you can cut the thigh meat off the bone. In my house, the thigh meat is everybody's favorite, so we all fight over it. Just cut around the bone, getting as close to it as possible. And then you can save these bones too for your soup. Then just cut them into slices. I like to keep as much skin intact as possible. So that's your thigh and leg. For the breast, cut your turkey breast into thin slices. This is where the sharp knife is important, because if it's dull, it's going to just mush the skin around. But if it's nice and sharp, you'll get a little piece of skin on every slice. And then just arrange your turkey however you like. A little bit of thigh meat. You can do it really however you want. The rest of the breast. I'm actually going to separate the wings. It's just a little too big, I think, for my platter. So just at the joint again, you can separate it. There we go. And there you have it. Wasn't that easy? I hope that it was really helpful, and have a great Thanksgiving.